Hello viewers, tonight I am going to keep my promise that the third part of The Wings of Fire, that is Strong Roots, will be finished by me, and I am going to give you a lesson on Wings of Fire or Strong Roots by APJ Abdul Kalam in a nutshell. I have already given you two lessons on strong roots, and now today is the third day. Now I am not elaborating my introduction because the lesson is going to be lengthy. And my dear boys and girls, pay your attention to it. Don't skip a single word or a single sentence. And I hope that you will be benefited if you listen to it, if you pay your attention to my teaching tonight. Okay? Let us start. My father could convey complex spiritual concepts in very simple, down-to-earth Tamil. He once told me, in his own time, in his own place, in what he really is, and in the stage he has reached, good or bad. Every human being is a specific element within the whole of the manifest divine being. Once upon a time, Jainal Abidin, APJ Abdul Kalam's father, told APJ Abdul Kalam about the spiritual concept he has gained. And Jainal Abidin had the ability to convey or to communicate the spiritual matters in a simple, down-to-earth Tamil that could be understood by all. By all. He once told APJ Abdul Kalam the place he has gained and the spiritual development he has achieved in his own time. Clear? And he also explained that, and it was his realization at least, every saintly person, every monk, and the man who meditates to know himself, to know his existence, to know his source, and to know where he was going or he is going, is able to convey every spiritual matter in a very simple language. For example, Ramakrishna Paramahansadev, he was able to make people understand what God is and if there is any existence of God and how he has realized God, etc. And that is why Swami Vivekananda became his disciple. Clear? In the similar way, Jainal Abidin was able to explain what spiritual development is, and he once told his son that every human being is a specific element within the whole of the manifest. Manifest means expression. God is only one invisible spirit that binds and sustains the whole universe, and we are his sons and daughters. And what is our aim? Our aim is to be united with our God. God has become many, and we, the many people, want to be united with God. That is the relation between God and human beings. Clear? So, why be afraid of difficulties, sufferings, and problems? If there is God in everyone, if there is God or there is the existence of God in everybody, then why should you be frightened by difficulties, by problems, by sufferings? Because He is there to drag you from those obstacles, from those hindrances, and from those troubles. Devote yourself to God, to the feet of God, and God will help you. It is universal truth. You should have faith on God. Am I clear? When troubles come, try to understand the relevance of your sufferings. Every suffering has its origin. For example, my dear boys and girls, if you do not study hard at present, you will have to suffer in future. So give emphasis on the present for the future. And if you give hard labor at present, and you will pluck the fruit of it in future. Am I clear? So when troubles come, try to understand the relevance of your sufferings. Why are you suffering? What is the cause of your suffering? What is the cause of your troubles? What is the cause of your difficulties? Try to understand the relevance of these. Clear? And ask yourself, what are the causes of your sufferings, difficulties, and troubles? Your mind will give you answer. Ask yourself. Adversity always presents opportunities in introspection. Every human being is to face adversity. That is obstacle, that is hindrance. And at that time, he is able, when he is fighting against obstacles, when he is fighting against hindrances, he will be able to understand, he will be able to feel something in his inner mind, in his inner sense, what the cause of his sufferings. So it is a very important question. Adversity always gives opportunities to introspection. How does APJ Abdul Kalam substantiate this? Adversity always gives opportunities for introspection. And how does APJ Abdul Kalam substantiate his view? This is the pertinent question in this paragraph. My dear boys and girls, now come to the next phase. I am going to discuss with you. Why don't you say this people, why don't you say this to the people who come to you for help and advice? I asked my father. So, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam once asked his father, if he knew all these things, if he knew or if he was aware of all these things, then he should have told his disciples, the people who used to come to him to meet him. Okay? So the question was asked by APJ Abdul Kalam, and his father put his hands on his son's shoulders. He put his hands on my shoulders and looked straight into my eyes. On hearing this question, Jainuddin was really astonished, and he put his hands on his shoulders and looked straight into his eyes. For quite some time, he said nothing. For a long time, both of them became silent, as if he was judging my capacity to comprehend his words. As if Jainuddin was trying to comprehend, to understand his words. Then he answered in a low, deep voice. His answer filled me with a strange energy and enthusiasm. His father, Jainuddin, answered in a very low voice, almost inaudible voice, but deep voice. His answer filled me with strange energy and enthusiasm. And Jainuddin's answer or explanation filled Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam with a strange energy, with a peculiar energy and enthusiasm. Whenever human beings find themselves alone, they look for someone to help. Sometimes it is found that people find themselves alone. They are completely separated from the members of the family. He was so distressed in mind that he loses his speech. He wants to be separated. He wants to be alone. And in his loneliness, he finds someone to be his companion. It is the loneliness that can make a human being mad. And in such a distressed condition, in such a miserable condition, it is he who finds for a company. Clear? And it is the company who will help him. It is his expectation. Whenever the rich and impasse means hindrance or obstacle that is almost impossible to be overcome. That is almost impossible to be overcome. When he reaches such an impasse, in such an obstacle or hindrance, they look for someone to help. They look to someone to show them the way out, and that is God. That is the invisible spirit. That is Allah. And it is He who can alone show him the way out, to come out from such a hindrance, a cluster of troubles, etc. Because you know that danger doesn't come alone. He invites other dangers. And in such a situation, he looks for a company, and this company is none but God, and it is God alone who can drag him out from hindrances or troubles or difficulties. Clear? However, and desire finds its own special helper. Anguish, every recurrent anguish. Recurrent means that occurs again and again. recurrent anguish, that is anxiety, longing, that is your earnest desire, and desire finds its own special helper. And all these things that grow within human mind need a special helper. For the people who come to me in distress, herefore means because the people who used to come to Jainal Abdin in their distress, in their difficulties, in their troubles, I am but a go-between. Here go-between means mediator. I am nothing but a go-between in their effort to propitiate the demonic forces, that is the evil force. The evil force that is within them, Jainal Abdin's function was to propitiate, to pacify them, to pacify that evil force. You know that there is always a conflict between a demon, that is the evil force, and God. When God is defeated, the demonic force becomes victorious, you are demon. And when God becomes victorious, you are like God. However, Jainal Abdin's function was to pacify or to propitiate the demonic force within yourself. Clear? With his prayers and offerings. So, his function was nothing but a mediator. Clear? A go-between. This is not a correct approach. This is not the right approach. He admitted, Jainal Abdin admitted that it was not the correct approach at all and should never be followed. And this approach should not be followed by anybody else. Clear? However, one must understand the difference between a fear-ridden vision of destiny and the vision that enables us to seek enemy of fulfillment within ourselves. Fear-ridden vision of destiny. That means you do not know what is going to happen in future because you are a specific element and your mind is guided by God, that is the invisible spirit, and Allah. So you are quite unaware of your destiny. So it is fear-ridden destiny because you do not know what or where your destiny is going to lead you. And the vision, and there is an inner vision within yourself, within everybody else, that seek the enemy of fulfillment within ourselves. And so there is a conflict between the fear-ridden vision of destiny and the vision that enables us, that makes us possible to seek the enemy of fulfillment within ourselves. We are aware, we know that the enemy, we can identify our enemy that is always fighting to reach our goal, to reach our fulfillment. So there is always a conflict between the two things, that is the fear-ridden destiny, fear-ridden vision of destiny, and the vision that makes us possible to seek the enemy, to look for the enemy that makes hindrances against the fulfillment within ourselves. And what is our fulfillment? And what should be our fulfillment? Our fulfillment is to be united with our God, with our Allah, with our Bhagavan. So, you must identify within yourself what you want and what thing is acting as an enemy to reach your goal. To reach your goal. And you must separate it as your enemy. You must separate it. You must isolate it as your enemy. And at that time, it will be possible for you to reach your goal and to find your God, to find your Allah, to find your invisible spirit, and to find your Bhagavan. However, I am ending here, and there remains another day, and I am going to complete Strong Roots by APJ Abdul Kalam, taken from The Wings of Fire. Good night. Stay safe, stay mellow, avoid mass gathering, use your mask and hand sanitizer, because your exam is knocking at the door, is on your threshold. Don't neglect your time, don't waste your time. Pay your attention, and I am going to complete this chapter within one night more. Please don't forget to subscribe my channel. This is my earnest request to all of you. Thanking all of you. Good night.